Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Brian.
And this is Dave.
And this is Preview with the Prior,
the show where we speculate about the upcoming episode of Better Call Saul.
Often incorrectly. Hope everybody's having an awesome day. It is just a few days before episode 406 of Better Call Saul. I'm kind of excited, Dave. I checked my email. I saw we got the preview episode, or the screener episode. So excited. I'll be sending that to you shortly. Couple notes. Last night we went to a pizza place in Chicago. We rode together, and
we did.
Periscope on Twitter. And
apparently 75 people have seen that now.
Really? Oh, awesome. So now I'm just going to randomly Periscope on Twitter.
Okay.
Just randomly when you and I are together.
I like it.
So I guess look out for it. Maybe I'll even Periscope our next band practice.
I'll say maybe that'll happen.
Yeah, maybe. So awesome. So what we're going to do our typical preview with the prior thing, and we will let you folks on to your normal daily lives. But please note that when the credits roll Monday on episode 406, your attendance is mandatory to listen to our podcast.
Sure.
Mandatory, Dave.
Yeah.
Which is the name of my new ska band, Mandatory Dave.
Mandatory Dave. I thought it was going to be attendance is mandatory.
All right, thank you, Wisconsin. We're Mandatory Dave.
I think attendance is mandatory would look a lot better on a marquee.
It would. Oh, man, that'd be great, right? You'd at least pull in the, like at least a very, submissive crowd.
Yeah, right. The susceptible to influence crowd.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we might as well, what do you want to do first? You want to do listener correspondence, or do you want to kick it off with brief episode predictions, Dave?
Let's get right to the correspondence.
All right, Dave, roll the jingle.
Listener correspondence.
All right, so we didn't do this last week, so we're going to attempt to go back and have a, we're going to attempt to go back in time a bit and just knock out some of the listener correspondence that we might not have gotten to since a couple weeks ago. How's that sound, Dave?
I was thinking the same thing, and I might have went back too far, but I'm not sure. Let's see what happens. I didn't really put anything in order, so.
Okay. You know what? I'm just going to start with August. Nope. You know what? I'm going to start with August 28th. Are you ready?
Which one's that?
Well, the first one I have from August 28th is Danny Goodman on Twitter. So we'll start off with Twitter. So these are all Twitter people. So Danny Goodman on Twitter says he posts a picture of CC Mobile and he says, "Hello, inflatable for the roof. He needs traffic man." I think we kind of briefly touched on that.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Maybe that's where the Statue of Liberty inflatable mabob comes from.
I'm down with that. I don't think I was at first, but I am now. You talked me into it.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like now that I look at that frame of that episode, it definitely seems like they were trying to portray that something is missing.
Yeah, or just he's looking at the space and his brain is a churning.
Exactly. Jen Kirkman's sense of humor is the Twitter listener who bought the Bavarian Boy off of eBay.
Nice.
And they said, "I got a watching buddy for tonight's episode back on August 27th. And I just think that's awesome that she bought that. That's so cool. So cool. He or she, I don't know. I tend to think it's a guy, but then it's Jen Kirkman's sense of humor. So maybe it's Jen Kirkman writing.
And only her sense of humor has a Twitter handle?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, So, I don't want to, only her sense of humor does, yes.
Yeah, that's what keeps you from getting political and serious and depressing and attention grabbing, and you just put your sense of humor on Twitter.
Right. Yeah, yes. Well done. I did not mean to assume Jen Kirkman's sense of humor gender.
Identity.
Yeah, whatever. Okay, here we go. All right, Robert DeVoe says back then, Mike wasn't building a sidewalk. He was building the footings for a playground structure that Stacy talked about earlier in the series.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. Okay. Fine. I like to think that young Mike, for whatever reason, was just building a block of concrete. But whatever, dude. If you want to use logic and context clues, I guess we can go ahead and
if you want to use episode recall, what I was thinking was that he's building a concrete structure for on which he can put his artistic graffiti because he is Banksy.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, Jonathan Banks is Banky. Banks.
He was training Matt. That's what it was. It was a training device for Maddie because Maddie put his name into it.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, here, you start here with a stick in the concrete. Eventually, you work up to spray paint cans on the side of a train, and then all the way up to installing an entire sticker on a building wall.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. On August 30th, I tweeted from our Nothing Important podcast handle that an old dude just hobbled past me in the airport and crop dusted me. And game recognized game. #respect. I just wanted to give that guy props. He was very confident in his ability to walk past and fart in my face while his ass was that. And like I said, game recognized game. You got to give props where props is due. So yes. Big ups, old guy. Big ups. You got me on that one.
Though technically that's not listener correspondence. That's just the host saying things he's already tweeted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is just me reading Twitter. Reading fucking Twitter. All right. September 3rd, Matt. It was just Matt, which is awesome. But his handle's @LavaLamp on Twitter. Says, listening to my drunkle ramble about politics is less than listening to you two ramble about a television show that I watch. I agree. Your drunk uncle doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. That is
probably.
Yeah, that is true.
Because when it comes to politics, nobody knows what the fuck they're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. Just like I said last night, I have yet to hear a person sound intelligent debate politics.
Right.
No one sounds intelligent debating politics. Ever. Ever. All you
not
do
even
is sound
not even politicians.
Not even politicians. All you do is just sound like an asshole. Like if you debate politics, you're an asshole. Don't care who you are. All right. Brant says, it's going to be okay, you guys. Thanks, Brant.
Thanks, Brant. Means a lot.
Not sure what that was in reference to. I think that was in reference to, we kind of got it a little heavy on the conversation where, even though people are grieving, sometimes you just have to get past it.
Right.
And I think Brant was playing along. Tom Detting, who I just realized has the Twitter handle @ThunderChode.
Yes, my favorite. I think I mentioned before that's my favorite Twitter handle of our fans.
Awesome. He says, "Holy shit, the power is back on this week, and that was the best opening so far." Obviously, referring to Saul Goodman bugging out.
Yep. Yeah, he had problems. He missed the previous episode, which I felt kind of bad for.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
poor guy.
We agreed that was a pretty fantastic opening.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice.
Exactly. So Bill Lentil says, to me, Rex Lynn will always be Agent Travers from Cliffhanger.
I don't know.
I'm guessing that's the guy we called Burt Reynolds as he got out of the van.
No, that is Kevin.
Or Kevin. I thought it was because I made the joke about Burt Reynolds, and the picture he posted of a guy was with a mustache.
Let's not speak ill of the dead, Brian.
He is deader than hell.
He just, as of today, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Burt Reynolds died today.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Yeah, spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Anthony Piccarelli says, haha, jackasses, screw your intro. I'll go make my own with blackjack and hookers. And thanks, Dave, I still looked at my phone, even though I knew what you and Brian were doing. It just went on for too damn long.
Funny side note. I did not edit that at all.
Yeah. And on the re-listen of that, I actually counted, and it was a good 15 seconds, which is probably in the top 3 longest pauses I've ever done on this show. It's probably the one piece of the show you don't edit.
Right.
It's probably the pause.
And I want to throw in along with that Crying Ryan, whose phone died during the pause.
Yeah.
So he sat there forever.
Yeah. Which is awesome that it worked out like that. So,
right.
Moment of silence for his phone battery.
Okay. That was a long enough moment of silence. God damn it, Brian.
That was 17 seconds. I just wanted to one up the record in honor of Anthony Piccarelli and what's his face's cell phone battery. Crying Ryan's cell phone battery. Crying Ryan. Thank you so much. Ryan S. says, hoping to punch a gaping hole in Dave's favorite theory with this. When Saul gives Francesca information for a lawyer, he's giving her the information for Kim. I'm theorizing she's moved on from corporate law to something she finds more meaningful, defense. So basically what he's saying here is that Kim is not going to die, dude, because the lawyer that Saul gave Francesca's information to is Kim.
Yes.
So you now agree? Would you like to change your theory?
Yeah, that makes sense because he gives Francesca a weird look when he says Jimmy, like, you know, like almost like that little like twinge of nostalgia or something like that. Mm-hmm. So, and that's not the only listener to also comment on that.
Okay,
Mall of America also did.
Mall of America brought that up for sure.
Yeah, so it's 2 against 1. So you guys win. I'm on board with it. I like it. I'm still going to say she dies just because I kind of have to at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, who changes their opinion based on new information? That's just not the way things work. I said it. I have to hold on to it.
Okay.
Clutch it like a cornerstone, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Clutch it like a cornerstone.
Yeah. Stacy on Twitter says, my husband invited his dad and brother over for dinner without thinking about our 8:00 date with Better Call Saul. Now I've got to eat my dinner in my room and be a bad hostess because of priorities. No, you're not a bad hostess. Your husband's an inconsiderate dick.
Agreed. Your priorities are in the right place.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think Stacy was on while we were periscoping.
Perhaps she was. Big ups to Stacy.
One of the many that logged on and then logged off right away.
Mm-hmm. So big ups to Stacy, big downs to her husband. And by proxy, her husband's dad. Robert DeVoe, who has another funny handle, the Friendly Rob.
Friendly Rob, yep.
Which is awesome. Jimmy made that magic gesture at the first episode of season 1 when he checked his messages. He was trying to magically make messages appear. All right, Good call.
Yep,
good
got
call.
us on that one.
Yeah, we knew that it was something that he did before, and it immediately catches your eye, but it wasn't really sure at what point it was done. So good, awesome, good callback. Thanks for letting us know, man.
And sorry.
No, I was just saying that's way cool.
And it worked this time, so that's a character arc.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
Character development right there.
Progression.
Magic powers are developing.
Kathy K says, I'm in Europe and watching on Netflix. My episode was only 52 minutes long. Did I miss something? Okay, so this kind of confused people.
Well, for one, screw you for being on Netflix in Europe because you get shit like right away and not 18 months later.
Right.
But I think it was. If it's 52 without commercials, it would be 72.
Right, because in the press kit, they build it as an extra long episode of Better Call Saul, clocking in at 75 minutes. So I just took it for granted and just watched the show and didn't watch the time on it. So there was actually quite a few people who were like, what are you talking about? I think Brent was one of them. We're like, what are you talking about? This is a normal length episode. And I was thinking, well, perhaps maybe with the commercials, because I watched it live too. I caught the end of it live, knowing that it was a longer episode, so I could push the publish button right as the commercials started rolling.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe content-wise, it was probably the same length, but overall time slot-wise, it was 75 minutes.
There you go.
I'm just saying, in our emails, it said it was a 75-minute long episode. So
but
that's
if you watched it live, you should know how long it was.
Right, and I had a pretty viable, I believe it got deleted on Twitter, but my response to that, it was like when a TV show has a very special episode of whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it'll be like tonight on the Golden Girls, Tom Selleck on a very special episode of the Golden Girls, right? And stuff like that, right? Yeah. And actually, I will say I took a pretty good dig at Big Bang Theory too. I was kind of hoping they retweet it because I told kids, I told Kid Bops that they sucked and they retweeted it, which is one of the highlights of my life. Yes. So awesome. And we've been retweeted by Family Guy before too, which is pretty hilarious. But so I tried to diss the Big Bang Theory and they didn't take the bait, but that's okay. I'm not trolling. I just genuinely think that show sucks.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's not an attention thing. That's a declarative statement from the bottom of my heart. The Big Bang Theory is exactly as funny as a Dr. Phil cancer episode.
Yes.
That is how funny the Big Bang Theory is. It's not nerdy. It's nothing. It's about The Big Bang Theory is a nerdy quote unquote show in the same way that Mr. Ed was really about like horses and animals.
Horse racing?
Yeah, it's not. It's not at all. It's the antithesis of funny, and we get it. They fucking like Mark Hamill. Big fucking deal. Who doesn't like Mark Hamill, right?
Also, they're super awkward with women.
Yeah.
And they use big words.
Yeah. Yeah. Their prose is quite verbose, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Pedantic dicks. So we could just add those guys to the list with John Taffer as people who will never come on our podcast. And coincidentally, Burt Reynolds, I'm pretty sure I was told that he would never come on our podcast either by his agent.
So the agent turned out to be correct.
Indeed. Moment of silence for Burt Reynolds. And that was 20 seconds of silence. Setting records on Preview with a Prior.
I'm going to chop all these down to like 1 second.
The only way I would be more satisfied with that 20 seconds, because first off, that was a pretty awesome moment of silence there for 20 seconds for Burt Reynolds.
Your mom gets pretty satisfied with 20 seconds.
The only way I would be happier with that moment of silence is if 2 people's cell phone died during that moment of silence. And as we're recording this now, they're still sitting there waiting for me to return. That's the most passive-aggressive I could be towards people that listen to us.
I'm not even commenting.
All right. Okay, so Mall of America has informed us the meth lab had to be built after the laundry. Local building codes authorities have signed off on an existing laundry facility structure. Too many questions would come up trying to get a laundry facility approved if it's built over an existing high-tech meth lab. Math lab. It's a bunch of tutors. High-tech meth lab.
Well,
did we say that wasn't the case, or is he just giving us a hard time?
Of course I said that was probably the case. Because I didn't think about realistic situations or building codes and contractor, that they would actually have to build a foundation for a facility and they would see a high-tech meth lab down there.
Mm-hmm.
Plus just being Dave.
Plus, I like Mall of America. I think he's a funny guy, and I really just kind of wanted to ruin his joke that was set up over a large tweet about over the high-tech meth lab. But
right,
no, for sure, totally. Andy McAfee says, "I'm not impressed with Mike's negotiation skills. Telling someone that money is no object before they propose a fee is madness." And that's actually a really good point.
Kind of.
I didn't. Kind of. What do you mean? Kind of. That is exactly. Andy McAfee is 100% on point with that, and I can't believe I didn't catch that. That seems like something I would have been totally cynical and shitty about.
I'm not taking a shit on Andy McAfee's theory. I think that is a very, very extremely valid point and 100% correct. Although, you see that a lot where this has to get done, and you don't want the price or the budget to affect the job. So you just say it's an open book. Do what you have to do. Don't worry about the money, because that'll influence your decisions.
I'm going to go ahead and say that only happens in movies and TV.
Okay.
I'm just saying, I can't imagine in real life anybody that has money on the line or at stake just gives somebody a blank check and says, go do this, no matter how rich they are. Pretty
sure it happened in Jurassic Park.
Well, that is a documentary. So, okay,
right.
So that's possibly... Okay, so besides the true historical facts that encompass the entire tale of Jurassic Park, that's the only time in history that happened for real. Any other time, it's never happened.
You can think that. I'm going to go ahead and say that that aspect of movies and TV is a reflection of real life, and it does happen.
All right. John Simonson says, I got a kick out of who liked this post from Cinnabon, and It's from the Cinnabon Twitter, a picture of them having making this crazy Cinnabon dessert sandwich thing, and it was like by none other than Saul Goodman.
See,
so
Saul Goodman has a Twitter handle. He's real. The whole show's real. That stuff does happen in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Prove my theory right.
Yeah. M.H. Duncan says, I'm going to do a weekly podcast of me yelling through the speakers at It's a Goodman podcast as they ramble off track, down the wrong road, and into a briar patch. And all I ask is that you allow us to be guests.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will also yell at us. Like we should do the podcast where we do pretty much the same thing about our podcasts.
The podcast. That's a little too meta for me.
But we'll name it better than MH Duncan's podcast.
Right.
The MH Duncaner. MH Duncan podcast. Wow, that was like 24 seconds. Man, I am just setting records all over. That's great. I'm going to go ahead and award myself 5 points for that. Man,
we don't do points. There's no point system in PWOP.
I am a trendsetter. Okay, here we go. So thank you, everybody on Twitter.
Wait, I had a couple.
Okay, go for it, Dave.
Aaron Taylor's The Shining reference of Jimmy bouncing the ball off the wall.
Mm-hmm. That's totally something I do when I'm bored.
Mm-hmm. I just like the fact that he threw The Shining in there.
Yeah.
Actually, all of my unread tweets are from Aaron Taylor, so you must hate Aaron Taylor. Why do you hate Aaron Taylor, Brian?
I don't know. He said I was dumb and I couldn't read good. He said I said like a lot. And said I ramble and I go off, and he called me polarizing, and it just hurts.
Did he call you polarizing?
I'm sure he did at some point. I don't think he specifically mentioned it, but
I think he said you were polar icing. I think he saw you at the gas station getting a polar ice. You were polar icing.
Well, then he needs to stay out of my personal affairs and quit. He doesn't need to put me on blast.
Polar blast.
Yeah, he doesn't need to put me on polar blast.
So, three more observations from Aaron Taylor. One is Nacho uses the vacuum guy to escape.
Yeah, awesome.
I didn't write these down word for word. I'm paraphrasing.
Okay.
So I think that's a pretty solid theory. Leading up to when Walter and Jesse take him to the desert, and he's like, it was Ignacio. Mm-hmm. You know, that could be something to do with him escaping, so they're looking for him or something.
Mm-hmm.
So, props. I hope we do see the vacuum guy again, or at least allude to him again.
Yeah.
Also, Aaron Taylor says HHM helps Kim with Mesa Verde because there's really no use for Chuck or HHM without Chuck. But screw that theory because we love Howard. But maybe, and I think we've discussed this before, or maybe I brought it up before from this tweet, that maybe Kim recruits HHM to help with the Mesa Verde because she's so overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
Which would then make her a big corporate lawyer, and the theories on the opening scene from last week make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Look at that.
And the third one is that the letter mentions Chuck's letter.
Mm-hmm.
It mentions Jimmy helping HHM. So he thinks it was written in the mailroom while Jimmy was in the mailroom. Maybe like right after he got his degree or something. And that was like a congratulations letter.
And just held on to it all these years?
Never really. That was a popular theory, was that he wrote it, a long time ago when he actually was proud of his brother.
Mm.
And he never gave it to him because Jimmy's always messing up. It's like you can't find that window to slip it in there.
I get it.
Keep screwing up,
Yeah, tragic.
As Paula Abdul once said, takes one step forward and 2 steps back.
That's true. She did say that.
Her and a big talking cat.
That's right.
Oh, it was at Icebergs. The Word was another one about. Oh, we already covered that.
One of my top 5 favorite music videos, by the way, is Paula Abdul, 2 Step Forward, or 1 Step Forward, 2 Step Back.
Opposites attract.
They do. Matthew Levely says that he believes that one of the guys in the montage at the hot dog stand was the monkey guy from Bruce Almighty, which is nice. The guy who had a monkey come out of his ass. And Matthew Levely at 3:29 p.m. today says, you guys killed Burt Reynolds.
Damn it. I was thinking that too, because we mentioned him on the show, and then all of a sudden he's dead.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Yeah, but he lived the life, man. He kind of did things his own ways. He gained fame and had a sweet mustache. The man had it all.
He's terrible at Jeopardy.
He's terrible at Jeopardy.
Terrible at Jeopardy. Turd Ferguson, as I like to call him.
Exactly. But it's funny because he had a hat.
Right.
So,
well, it was the big oversized hat.
A moment of silence for Burt Reynolds' big oversized hat. I'm not going to do that, Dave. Let's just go right to iTunes reviews.
So, yeah, we said that if we get 10 new iTunes reviews, we'll release a song, an original song of our band.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So we have 4 since we said that.
Nice. Okay.
Daniel Bronstein, 5-star review.
Yeah.
The title of the review is "I'm just writing this for the song."
Nice. Okay. Sweet.
And the review says, "Give the people what they want," all in caps. So he means it.
Awesome.
Also, great cast.
Thank you.
Okay. Your observation skills are lacking.
Yeah.
Let's see. Araladen. I don't know. Aralaedan. Araladan. 5 stars, very good discussion. But please stop inserting the word "like" in every sentence. Thanks for the podcast. Well, you're welcome.
Yeah. You're a straight shooter, and I can't fault you for it.
Pretty funny, though. It was not intentional that the very next cast we did was how much we liked the episode and ended up saying like 100 more times, like I just did.
Right.
And I must have cut out us saying like 25, 30 times, and it was still too much. So, yeah, maybe we'll work on it. Maybe we won't.
I know that Dave and I are big time podcasters, and we have an audience that spans literally dozens of people,
dozens of acres.
Right. However, we could fall into the traps and vocal tics, such as saying and like. And I think it's important to remember that Dave and I volunteer our time and makes the sacrifices to do this podcast. So I'd appreciate a little goddamn respect. From iTunes users. I don't think that's too much to ask. Do you, Dave?
Maybe not. I don't think it's disrespectful.
No. In all seriousness, in case you haven't noticed, Dave and I are very aware of our flaws. We're very self-aware, and I think the most important thing that anybody that listens to us should remember is that at any given time, Dave and I have no clue what the hell we're doing. Right. At any given moment, just assume we're like jellyfish, just floating along. And hopefully we don't get eaten by a whale or some shit.
We are literally and figuratively winging it.
Yes, quite clueless.
Right.
Quite clueless.
Indeed.
It's like a cat that watches a cuckoo clock. We just sit there and our heads go back and forth, and sometimes we make a noise. And it's not even really ever in reference to anything. It's not signaling or anything. It's just kind of like it just kind of happens. However, we do appreciate you guys listening to us and your critiques. We really do.
Yeah, we'll work on it.
We'll work on it. Long story short, we'll work on it.
I'm trying.
Sorry we suck. Sorry we suck.
Next review.
Yeah.
5-star review.
Nice.
From Robert Bruce. The title is "Shut Up, What Are You, a Moron?" And the review goes, "Brian sounds like Jeff Garland, the dad on the Goldberg Show.
Yeah.
And Larry David's best friend and agent on Curb Your Enthusiasm.
All right.
The other co-host, Dave, is pedestrian with a pedestrian emoji at best. Yep. Listen to it anyway. I don't care about their band. Shut up, you morons. I don't care when they go on divergent tangents. Shut up, you morons. Speculation and petty preview with a prior. Shut up, you morons. Okay, we're done here, you morons.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, thank you for the positive review.
Yeah. Finally, someone that's astute and makes good observations. Pedestrian at best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I could make a couple comments on that, Dave. One, that's not the first time I've heard people say that I sound like Jeff Garland. Like, I don't hear it. I've looked up him and heard him talking. I guess I don't hear it. People also say I sound like Seth Rogen. I don't understand that either. To me, I just sound like a ridiculous Muppet. Like I can't. I have no concept of how loud I speak. Mm-hmm. The only thing I'm really aware of is that apparently my voice is really deep, sometimes startle people, and I have this lisp that I've had since like second grade that some days makes it sound like I'm drunk and others days is almost not there at all. So I don't know what the hell is going on with my voice, but I'm glad you noticed. Secondly, as far as you being pedestrian, I agree. I have seen Dave walk across the street several times, and it is something that he enjoys. So, again, thank you so much for noticing. And we'll try to be less morons. Was he calling us morons, or was he mocking people that complain? I was a little lost in the. You know what? I'm gonna get.
I don't. Maybe because there was the one review that said I don't want to say they're morons, but they're morons. Mm-hmm. So maybe it is mocking other reviewers or telling us. Either way, you're right, and I agree.
And that was all part of one review, correct?
Yeah, that was all one review.
So if I may, I'm going to give his review 3.5 stars because he didn't exactly make it clear what he was talking about. But he definitely got credit for the fact that you definitely used a crosswalk at appropriate times, and my voice is sultry and chocolatey.
Right.
Indeed.
More like dark chocolatey, because that shit makes me want to puke.
Indeed. Moving on. Next.
So if we can talk about my voice for a second now. Okay, so the last review is the longest review. I'm going to read it in its entirety.
Here we go.
I don't know if this is sarcasm or not. I really hope it is.
First, how many stars is this?
2.
Nice.
Yes.
Digging it. Okay, cool.
By The Erdman.
The what?
The Erdman. It's TheErdman.
Okay.
I'm really hoping it's the old man, referencing the fact that we always get his name wrong.
Okay.
I really hope this is him, because if it is, it's so funny. And if not, it's still so funny. Okay. Ready?
If there's one thing I like, it's people's negative opinions of me.
Absolutely.
Especially doing this podcasting thing, because one, Dave, have you ever even seen me get any troubled at all if anybody's ever expressed a negative opinion towards me in person? You've known me almost 20 years, right?
No, not really.
What is my natural reaction? Usually just to laugh at them or right? Wouldn't you say that's fair?
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty fair.
So when we get bad reviews online, I know I should totally care, but I find it so amusing, and it honestly, I don't know. I kind of like it when people diss us. I find that humorous, even if they mean it. It's almost like it's a roast. Like, even if they vehemently mean it, to me, it still makes me chuckle.
Right.
All right, let's do this. I'm ready. I'm ready for this 2-star review.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've listened to about a dozen of your shows.
Okay.
And to be honest, they are barely entertaining.
Nice.
Ellipsis. By the way, that was a dozen of your shows, ellipsis. And to be honest, they are barely entertaining. Ellipsis. Mm-hmm. You guys miss a ton of the obvious and tend to drift away from topics that there's much more that can be talked about. Mm-hmm. Anyway, ellipsis. Props to you both for doing this for as long as you have. I have a great deal of respect for that. With that said, super ellipsis. Knocking Citizen Kane is something I cannot look past. Oh, there's more.
Okay.
That is an amazing movie, ellipsis. Back when capitalized no one was doing any kind of serious creative films outside of Europe. There is so much that can be said about the power of Kane, ellipsis. And you blow it off like a sequel to Police Academy.
First off, Police Academy 2 was one of the better sequels to Police Academy.
All I'm saying is Police Academy 6, Mission to Moscow, or maybe that was 5. One of the best movies of this or any generation.
But and also Police Academy 6 made Police Academy 2 look like Police Academy 4.
Right, exactly.
All right, continue.
Also, ellipsis. Yes, ellipsis. Rocky Horror is not a great movie, ellipsis. But taken in the spirit for which it was intended, you see that it is a loving homage to multiple film genres, all mixed together with a killer collection of songs.
It's a loving homage to it's a loving homage to multiple genres of terrible fucking movies. That's great.
Pretty much. Yeah.
I got you. Okay.
All mixed together with a killer collection of songs. If you mean killer because they fucking kill me because they're so bad, then yes, they are killer songs.
Yeah, right. All it kills for me is my want to listen to it.
Exactly.
That's all it does.
Or other movies of that genre, because obviously it's paying homage to movies I would also not like to see.
Yeah, I guess apparently there's just this large bank of sexually charged transsexual transvestite lingerie musicals out there that we're unaware of.
Okay,
I'd really like to see who won the last 10 Oscars in that category.
Okay, let's wrap this up. If you can truly say you don't like Time Warp and at least a half a dozen other great songs, ellipsis. What? Half a dozen other great songs of that movie? Isn't there only like half a dozen songs in the movie and they're all terrible?
I'm just saying, I definitely like at least half a dozen other songs.
Oh, yeah, totally.
In fact, I can name off the top of my head half a dozen other songs that I would rather listen to than Rocky Horror Picture Show. So
Than Time Warp.
Yes.
Let's do it again. Then I think I am done listening to your, quote, opinions. Good luck.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, well, thank you. We will take your good luck, and hopefully it'll bring us some good luck.
Exactly. So overall, positive review. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
2 stars. I like it.
Yeah.
At least it wasn't 1.
Yeah.
We need more 2-star reviews. Actually, in the race of reviews, 5 stars leading by a mile. We're kind of lacking in the, it's either like there's 81 5 stars. There's 14 1 stars.
Oh, yeah.
And then 2, 3, and 4 are all under 10. So let's get some more of those 2 and 3 star reviews going, people. Come on.
Yeah, man. Load it up.
Yeah, let's even this race out a little bit.
Yeah, I'm tired of having good ratings. Let's burn this bitch to the ground.
You can't all love us. I mean, psh.
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's see how low it can go.
Although there's plenty of love to go around, you know what I'm saying?
All right, here we go. Thank you, Dave, all right. Here's honestly okay.
Citizen Kane. Citizen Kane is such a great movie. Actually, I have never watched it, so I can't knock it.
It's fucking terrible. It's so fucking boring, dude. I'm sure back in the 1800s, Citizen Kane was probably the height of cinematic achievement.
It's almost like it's like when you're okay. So it's like back in the day. I was actually just watching a film about the first subway. And when they were in a motorized vehicle that went 25 miles an hour, they were like scared and excited and whooping and hollering like, this is the fastest anyone's ever traveled. Woo! So that's kind of like what it's like. Like in the 30s, a super slow, boring movie was like crazy exciting because, they didn't have Michael Bay.
Right.
So we're a little desensitized to it.
Right.
So it's hard to go back. That's like going back in time and being like, oh, the Model A Ford was like one of the greatest cars of all time. It's like, well, maybe when it was made, it was.
Right. Exactly.
But put that thing up against the McLaren and let's see, let's run them.
Right. Pink slips. All right. So that's listener correspondence. Anybody that contacted us on Twitter, Facebook, email, or anything like that, thank you so much. We totally appreciate it. Please make sure to drop by and give us iTunes reviews. If we get 10 reviews, we will release one of the songs for our band, an original song.
Yes.
An original song. I have it. I know which one I'm going to release too, but it'll be great. Dave doesn't even know.
I will be surprised, and I'm actually really cool with that.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So episode 406, airing Monday. It is titled Dave, pinata.
Pinata.
Pinata. Yeah. So the description of it is, while Jimmy daydreams about reconstituting Wexler McGill, Kim sets out to secure her own future. Mike puts a plan in motion for Gus.
Okay.
Nacho sits in the dark. Which is weird that they threw that on there in the official description. That's great.
I have a feeling they didn't, but I haven't read it, so I'm going to take your word.
No, they didn't. They didn't at all.
Hector,
So, all right.
Hector lays in a hospital bed.
Right.
Actually, that was on the teaser trailer. I did go watch the teaser, and it showed like Gus approaching Hector's hospital bed.
Ah, gotcha. So
I think he's going to pay him a visit.
Yeah, so that's probably going to be a super big deal then. If they didn't put in the description, they want it to be a surprise.
Right.
So
yeah, it could be something with that. And then other things in the teaser that I got was like Jimmy telling Kim, I got this job and I'm kind of on a path. Going back to his little meeting at the DA's office.
Yeah,
and
I
he's
think
like sitting there doodling the Wexler McGill logo. That was
right.
cool.
I think that's his end game is to end up there.
Yeah.
I thought when I originally saw that before the Wexler McGill logo, when Jimmy was talking about his path that he's currently on, I thought it was. I feel like it's going to be a scene where he, even though he doesn't have to justify himself to Kim, he's going to like over justify where he is in life to Kim.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? To make himself feel better about himself. It'll probably come in the form of something she'll ask him about going to the shrink, and he'll justify that he didn't go to the shrink because
he's got his ducks in a row, or he's getting his ducks
or it'll be like, oh yeah, the shrink helped me out a whole bunch. The shrink really helped me, and I could prove it because I got a great job now. I'm on my path, right? And then in the meantime, he's just running out the clock until he can reform Wexler McGill.
Totally. Well, then there was a thing where he answers the phone and he's like, Jimmy McGill. And then the person on the other line's like, oh, the lawyer? So maybe this is where he can start connecting the cell phones with the lawyer in the strip mall kind of thing. I kind of like that, if that's where that's going.
Yeah.
There was a scene with Howard in a dimly lit office. So the Kim securing her future could be maybe she is approaching HHM about some help, or securing her future is the whole thing with Jimmy explaining himself is because she's questioning their future and wants to get that, pick a lane on that. So yeah, that could go one of both ways. My official prediction, she goes to Howard for help with Mesa Verde.
All right.
Since she screwed up so bad last episode.
Yeah, like self-sabotage. It was totally self-sabotage. Okay. I would say that it would probably be let's see, Kim sets out to secure her own future. I thought I had an idea, but I didn't, because every time I like try to formulate it really quick in my head, it goes off on something else. Because I don't feel like her future is any of those things. So maybe, it might just be her. Well, she's already out on her own. So, I honestly don't know. I don't have any theories about how Kim would secure her own. It'd be awesome if it was something way out of left field. Like she just won $50,000 a year for life on a scratch off ticket and just left the show. Like the most anticlimactic ending ever.
Like Poochie. It's like, I have to go back to my home planet.
And then just exit stage left, never to be seen again. But I don't know. I don't know where that can be going, because I don't think she'll. Because when I say secure, to me that means that she solidifies. Like the way I keep thinking is that she solidifies something in the episode, right? Because she secures it, right?
Yes, that
going
would
back
be
to Jimmy,
a synonym for secure would be to solidify.
Right. So going back to Jimmy doesn't secure shit. I feel like there's been too much bad blood between her and Howard, so there's nothing really secure there. And also, she fucked up really bad with Mesa Verde, and it's not like being a public defender is exactly securing her own future. So I feel like she's going to fall into some situation or opportunity through word of mouth, and run with that. That's I fuck it. My prediction is going to be that Ed Begley Jr. is going to offer her a job if she takes that job.
Actually, I'm gonna go back to one thing. Okay, go finish your thought.
Because one thing we need closure on from last season is what the hell did the switch in Jimmy's office do? Right?
I don't think that was the point, Brian. I think the point was that he flipped it.
No,
that was the whole point. That's art.
No.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Your opinions are incorrect. I looked it up. I looked it up in Scientific Proof magazine, and your opinions are incorrect. So that's my prediction.
You Googled Dave's opinions, and they all came up. It was like a thing of Maury, which says, that the results are in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you are incorrect. No, so that's my prediction. She goes to work with Ed Begley Jr. and flips the switch.
Okay, well, she also flips the switch, so we can finally see what happens with the switch.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
and it'll just be like a light bulb in the closet or something like that. So, but
actually, I'm gonna take your theory, and you say about solidifying. Well, her relationship with Mesa Verde needs to be solidified. Therefore, she would solidify that with the Chuck thing. So you just said the same theory as me. So there you go.
What if she goes into business with Bill?
The petty with a prior guy?
Yeah.
What? Defending pieces of shit like David?
No, maybe they'll start their own like white collar law firm.
No, I'm gonna
maybe Bill's down. Like, holy shit, she kind of kicked my ass last episode. Maybe she's going places.
Maybe.
All right. Might puts the plan into motion for Gus. I don't think they're going to rehash building the fucking meth lab.
I don't know. There was a scene. Was it the opening scene where he pulls up to Stacy's house, and it alludes that he had already called her to say he's on the way, and kind of apologizes, but not apologizes for calling out the liar.
Mm-hmm.
And she says,
"You mean Anita or Stacy?"
Stacy.
Okay.
And then she says that really had an effect on me. And he's like, I know. And then it kind of fades out. He's like, but I stand by what I said. So I'm wondering if she's starting to think about the whole, like, I'm too hung up on Maddie and I'm not living my life and I need to move on kind of thing.
So what would his plan in? Oh, yeah.
I don't know what that has to do with Gus, but it happened.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good prediction. It says Mike puts the plan into motion for Gus. I'd like to think that I'm hoping for something different than than them building the.
I'm gonna say they build the meth lab. That's what it is. The plan in motion, and just something's gonna get in the way, or it'll some hiccup. Mm-hmm. You know it's gonna get built eventually because it's in Breaking Bad, but I don't know, man. Are we gonna see Nacho? I know you said that it officially states that he waits in the dark. But let's speculate. Whose dark is he waiting in?
It totally doesn't state that, but I think what's going to happen is Nacho is recovering at his dad's house, and his dad kind of takes care of him and tends to him and gives him the good old father-son advice, like, "Hey, dude, you need to watch out for these bad guys." And then the bad guys come knocking on his door, like one of those situations where because the father is involved, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And Nacho has done some pretty heinous shit lately, and he's kind of playing both sides, right?
Totally.
So I feel like they'll play it like the heartwarming, father and son are kind of hashing out their differences because of the extremity of the circumstances of which they currently find themselves in. Oh, shit. Who's that knocking at the door? Could it be a menacing figure? And and then it'll pick back up in 407. That's exactly how I see it going down.
I'm gonna agree with that. I'm not gonna poke any holes in that theory. I like it. I am gonna say that when Gus visits Hector, it's just one of those scenes where he just like shows up and kind of looks at him and does the whole like, I own you or whatever.
Yeah.
And then nothing really happens, and then he leaves. And he just does it just for what do you call it? Dramatic effect.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he talks some shit, or maybe he monologues, because every villain has to monologue at some point.
Right.
That's a rule. So he monologues to Hector because Hector can't do anything about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess this is where he'll tell Hector that he owns Hector now.
Yeah, and he starts to unveil his evil plan, which we all know works, like in every show.
Right.
You know,
which I guess if that happens, I don't know why Gus is so mad at Nacho, because it's not like Nacho didn't almost take his revenge away from him. In a way, Nacho gifted Gus his ability for revenge.
Yeah, but it's the thought that counts. And he tried to steal that revenge, that sweet, sweet revenge that Gus is just like wetting his whistle for over all these years.
Yeah.
Which he never gets. And I got a text from a friend. I had 2 friends catch up this past week and tell me about it. And one of them, his first thing was like, man, I'm really sad that like Hector won. Like he was rooting for Gus to win.
Well,
after watching Better Call Saul, he's rooting for Gus to win because they make Hector look like much more of an asshole, I guess, when he can actually speak.
Right. Awesome. Well, we'll just have to find out Monday. Remember, we will be there as the credits roll. So make sure to check out your whatever you listen to our podcasts on. Make sure to check it out. Make sure to hit us up on Twitter at ISGM Podcasts, Facebook, email, nothingimportantpodcast.com, itsallgoodman.com. Feel free. Hit us up. We love hearing from you guys. We love the good, the bad, the ugly, whatever you want to call us. We're cool with it. And next week, we'll have more of a concise episode because we won't be trying to make up of 2 weeks of not reading listeners' correspondence.
Exactly. But I really like doing it. I really enjoy reading the correspondence, especially since I don't correspond that much. I'm not on Twitter a whole lot. I just kind of like things or maybe make a comment here and there. So keep doing it, though. Keep calling us idiots or calling us geniuses.
That's right. That's right. All right, guys. We'll talk to you Monday after the show. Dave, do we have a closing for a preview with the Prior?
Nope. That's where I'm going to put the theme song.